Oh, that is interesting. I would probably go Max Holloway. Um, I was really impressed with Calvin Kattar in his last outing. I thought he did really well, but Holloway, I mean, you could argue he won both Volkanovski fights. I believe I scored them 48-47 for Volkanovski, but they're it's actually an annoying fight for me because it's like neither one of them can get that big of an advantage. It's almost like, I mean, every round, if you're scoring it out of 100 points, it would be like 51-49 every round. Every round, there's not one where it's like, oh yeah, you killed him that round. Has there even been any knockdowns? I don't recall. I don't think so, right? Right. So they fight 10 rounds. There's not even one knockdown. Yeah. So it's one of those where it's like I don't really have any desire to see those guys fight again, at all. But you could also argue that Max is still the best in the world. So I think he beats Calvin Kattar.
Max, I think he gets it done. I could see him finishing Kattar. I think Kattar is also, of course, very, very good. I think that Max is really long, which I think is going to cause some issues for Kattar. Kattar is kind of a guy that covers and then likes to swing really big and try to knock you out. I think that Max is too smart for that, and I think that he's and I think his chin is too good. So yeah, I got Max.
Oh man, my heart. I would say I think Max is going to win, but that's funny you brought up Calvin because he was a guy I was just watching 3 nights ago. I watched a few of his fights because, in my opinion, he's got one of the top 3 jabs in MMA, and I think the jab is a really underutilized tool for MMA and stuff. So just watching like the way he sets his jab up, his feints into his jab. So I was just watching him. But I think Max is, he's a once in a lifetime talent in the UFC and whatnot, and I think he's going to be really tough to beat. But all that aside, I could see Calvin really using his striking, his boxing, and making a really interesting fight.
I love watching Max Holloway. He's one of my favorite guys, not even just fighter, but personalities in the sport. I think he's such a humble guy. I love listening to his interviews. His mindset is always, positive, and I love seeing that. But I'm a fan of Kattar too. I think 2 really high-level strikers. Probably not going to see much wrestling in this fight. I think Holloway's improved on the kicks. But I think this is a fight that takes place on the feet and most likely goes the distance. 2 really hard guys to finish. I think Holloway gets it done. I think he's just a slightly more diverse striker, a little bit more to his game, and he's also had that championship experience.
Shit, I don't know. I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. I've loved his style ever since his Conor McGregor fight, the first one. So I don't know. I'm always betting on Max. I always think he could do it, but Calvin Kattar's got that reach, man. His boxing's tight. His inside game's tight. He's a problem. It's gonna be a good fight. I got Max.
I am frustrated at how people write Max off. I mean, he had 2 fights with Volkanovski, and not everybody agreed on who won those. But Max Holloway is still top 2, top 3 in the world. I mean, he was literally just not very long ago he was champion, and his losses are title fights, whether he's going up in weight or he's defending his title. And I know Kattar's explosive, and people are really freaking out about him since his last couple, but I think Max is still right there, and people are kind of they're doing the same thing with Tony Ferguson. Guys lose a couple fights and they write him off, but I really like Max as a person, as a fighter, and I'd like to think he controls the pace and wins a decision. I'm pulling for Max.
It's a tough one. Calvin Kattar's coming up, and he's doing great. He's got good boxing skills. I think Holloway edges it though. I'm going to say decision, yeah.
Max Holloway, decision. Both fighters, they're really good, very dangerous both. I just have a little bit more going towards Max Holloway decision though.
I'm gonna go with Calvin. I like his boxing. He's got good pressure. I think he's gonna be able to cut. I think he's gonna be able to cut off Max Holloway and get the job done. Whether, yeah, I could. That one's tough. I don't know how it ends, but I see him winning.
I can't pick against Kattar, man. He's the first guy to ever beat me. I automatically I got to root for the guy. Honestly, he's a good guy too, so I legitimately am rooting for him. And Max has been one of my favorites for a while, so this is pretty funny. Like, it's a phenomenal matchup. But I'm gonna go with Kattar. How? Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm gonna go with decision. It's hard to pick a way to get finished, so I'm gonna go with decision because I think it's gonna be a striking fight for 5 rounds.